1, 2, intro, 2, 3, 4. Verse 1.
right, so this is Take You at Your Word by Cody Carnes. We do it in the key of C, but I'll be talking about everything in number so that you can apply it to whatever key that you may need to play this song in. So again, we play it in the key of C. There's 7 scale tones for any particular key. For C major, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then back to 1. So this line starts out, firstly, the song is in 12/8, just so that you can hear sort of what 12/8 sounds like at 172.5, which is a fairly fast tempo, but this is it. So we're actually listening to triplets there is the easiest way for us to sort of wrap our brains around it. If you took the 4 beats that are found in common time or in 4/4 time, and you break each one of those beats down into triplets, then that's what you're listening to now. So it's 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, triplet, 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 triplet. However you want to count that, however you were taught to count that, is the beats of this song. So it's in 12/8. There's 12 eighth notes in each measure, and that's what we're listening to. And so it gives us this sort of lilting, sort of, I think of it kind of in 2 halves sometimes, where it's just sort of a back and forth of the tempo there. The main thing, at least for the key player, is the lead line. So the lead line is fairly simple, but it's fairly quick. And so I'm going to slow it down for you a little bit here so that we can hear everything that is happening. But that lead line starts on the 1, and it's 1, 2, 5. That's over a triplet. So that repeats 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, and then it descends 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's obviously not straight. The melody is there. It's not just a straight down, but it sounds like this, kind of slowed down. Again, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I do recommend this hand placement, whatever key you may be playing it in. It's only, the whole lead line is 5 notes, and you happen to have 5 fingers on one hand, and so you can place those 5 fingers on those 5 notes, and then all we're doing are pulling fingers whenever we are ready to play any particular note, and that way you're not jumping around everywhere. You're able to sort of stay rested. So again, there's some chords that happen underneath that in the intro line and in the verses. They are the same. The chorus progression is the same as the intro and the verse progression as well. The only time that it changes up is during the turnaround that happens between the chorus and the bridge, and then the bridge progression is different from the rest of the song as well. So the biggest thing here is, again, remembering to have our hand placement there, having sort of that 1, 2, 5 ready to go, because it's fairly quick that those notes happen. So again, I'm going to start this tempo here, and we can sort of play along with it. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and... And that would start us into the verse. So then for the verses, you can watch the whole playback through. There's nothing too crazy that is happening here. The progression is a 1 chord. It's a 1/7 chord, and then like a 4/2 chord. So I'm playing, in this case, it'd be an F major. But in my right hand, this perfect fifth, this C and G, stays the same. So we come out of that little intro line right there, and we're right into a 1. This is actually like a C5 chord right here. There's no 3 that's being played. There's only roots and fifths that are being played. All these notes are roots and fifths, C's and G's. And then everything moves down. Really not everything. Our two C's that are in our left hand for our bass notes move down to B's because it's a 1/7 chord. So we're keeping the same thing in our right hand, C and G, and we're just moving our C's down to B's right here. And then same thing, our right hand does not move again. We come back up and that makes our F2 chord right there. Again, a regular F major would have this A, but we're not using that A, we're using this G because our right hand has stayed the same the entire time. So again, one intro into the verse. Verse. And that just repeats to continue out through the verse. 1/7, 4/2. It goes to a 6. Still the same right hand, C and G in the right hand. It's a 6/5/4 progression again. And then there's a break. And then that lead line starts over again. So it breaks for the beginning. It's sort of antiphonal right there. Take you at your word. Happens sort of in a break right there. The whole band kind of drops out. The first time it's just what I would consider a hard break. You're hitting on one right there and you're sort of stopping. After verse 2, once we've gotten through verse 2 and we're getting into the chorus, I do a break, but I kind of do a slide coming out of that break. So it's the exact same way, that 6/5/4 with the same C and G in the right hand. And it happens again, 6, 5, and then 4, and then this break, I'm just gonna kind of slide down all the notes that are in C major. There's no particular range, whatever you just feel comfortable with. I do like to descend that line. And again, you're wanting to sort of keep your fingertips trailing your hand right there. And that's what gives a good break right there. Some people don't have to bring their wrist over the keys. Some people can kind of leave them down like this and just allow the keys to sort of drag your fingers back this direction instead of thinking about your hand coming over your fingers like that. And so that's all you're looking for. There's not any certain amount of time, there's not any certain amount of notes that you're trying to hit or any range that we're trying to cover. You just want that fall to be in there. I know for us personally, our bass player does the same thing. He kind of boom and lets that sort of drop out as we're getting into that break right there. And then of course the rest of the band is going to be doing a hard break kind of the same way. It's just my keys are kind of mimicking what an electric guitar player or what the bass player may be doing in that moment right there for that slide, because they have frets and it's a single string and they're able to slide over all those frets on that single string, and that's what creates that sort of drop right there. And so again, all that we're looking for is after that 6/5/4 progression is in that break. I'll take you at your word, and then we're right back into the chorus from there. And then again, that lead line happens in the chorus as well. And it's the exact same as the intro. So I take you at your word. So it's the exact same lead line that we're playing in the intro. We're keeping that in the chorus as well. If you've listened to the song, then you know that the electric guitar also plays this lead line, this identical lead line here. And so you're sort of matching the original artist, Cody Carnes, sort of put those tones together, the piano tone and the guitar tone, and they're playing them both at the exact same time. And that's what sort of creates the tone that we now know as the lead line for Take You At Your Word. So again, that's used in the intro. It's used in every single chorus. Even when we come out of the bridge and it's sort of a broken down chorus where the majority of the band leaves, and it's really, it's just played lighter is all that it is. But it's the exact same lead line. You're just sort of pulling your dynamics back a little bit so that it can be different. You can't crank it up to 10 and play the entire song at 10 because you have nowhere to go as far as dynamics are. And so we pull that back a little bit. And again, we sort of use, I use my left hand to kind of fill in some of those spaces after, like once there are rest moments in the right hand, I'm kind of using the left hand to kind of fill in some of those. So, and again, all I'm playing around on is the root and the 5 of whatever chord that I'm playing. And then again, you just saw that there. Sometimes I'll do a little, just to kind of turn it a little bit before we're playing that lead line again, back up to the top. And again, that's just using 1, 2, and 3 is all that it is, of whatever key you happen to be in. But so that is just a little tool that is used there. Again, it's to lean into the idea of the triplet. It's to keep that momentum rolling forward as that triplet is kind of pushing us. It kind of gives a little momentum to it, and obviously the audience or the congregation is not listening to that click. They're listening to the beats that we are establishing. And so if you can lean into that a little bit, and some of your little turns or some of the little extra stuff you may play, I call it sweetener, some of the sweetener you may play, can lean into that triplet idea as well. Also, in the bridges, the progression does change. It's 4, 6, 5, 1 over 3. So 4, 6, 5, and 1 over 3. So that's, in this case, it's F major, A minor, G major, and C major over E is the 1 over 3. So this bridge has rhythmic displacement. Rhythmic displacement is where we don't spend an equal amount of time on every single chord. If that were the case, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's not how this progression goes. So we start on the F, and we spend a measure and a half on it. Then we have a half measure, which is only 6 beats in this case, on the 6, and then we spend a measure and a half on the 5, and a half measure on the 1 over 3. So instead of 4 beats or 12 beats, in this case 12/8 is the time signature we're in, instead of 12 beats on each one of these chords, we're actually spending 18 beats, a measure and a half on the 4, and then we're spending 6 beats on the 6, and then 18 beats or a measure and a half on the 5, and then 6 beats on the 1 over 3. So it sounds like this: 3, 4, yeah. And that rhythmic displacement really sets things up to be different from the rest of the song, because it's been so driven by that 12/8, by that triplet feel the whole time. This gets us away from that. And again, you'll see me playing kind of quarter note feels on my right hand here, and staying away from those eighth notes, and just so that we can kind of establish some differences right there. Until we are doing the bridge for the very last time. Bridge 1 happens first, then bridge 2. It goes back to the top of bridge 1 and bridge 2 again. So both of those bridge sections are just repeated. And as we get into bridge 2 the second time is when I'm going to really start leaning into the idea of the eighth note, start bringing those triplets back, just so that we can ramp it up, build some dynamic in there. but then it breaks down to a chorus that is very low. There's almost nothing happening in it. There's a kick, I believe, that stays still in there, and the electric guitar and the piano are still covering that lead line. But it's much more refrained, and then it sort of builds in. And again, that's when I would use that slide, because we will have that moment there where everything kind of breaks down and it's nice and low. So yeah, outro's the same. The timing at the very end of the outro, they utilize what is called a hemiola. Hemiola is just a halftime break. That's what a lot of people think about. It's used most commonly in like heavier rock music, like metal music. They really like to use halftime breaks. Or even like dubstep is believe it or not, is one of the genres that really utilizes, and in that sense, they refer to it as a drop. And so it's kind of the same way. The drummer at the very end, he starts playing in sort of that halftime, that hemiola feel, and then his little runs and stuff that are in there are actually straight quarter note and eighth note runs, and they sound so different and so opposing because we've been listening to a triplet the whole time, the same way that a triplet sounds opposing when you've been listening to straight 4/4 time the whole time. And so it is just a cool little moment right there. And again, if you're able to have a click and a guide running behind you, it makes a world of difference, because you're able to sort of keep that tempo internalized in your head and not really worry about what the drummer's doing and all the fun sweetener stuff that the drummer's adding to it. So again, that is Take You at Your Word. I hope this has brought you a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of insight on what it is. Again, if you are not playing it in the key of C, if you happen to be playing it in the key of D, the original key, you can just apply these same numbers in D, and it is the exact same thing, exact same lead line. So again, I hope you found this enjoyable. I hope you found it knowledgeable, and that you can apply this to your own playing.